So just to catch you all up, I went to, my doctor made me go see him in Westbrook around 4:30 p.m. On Thursday evening because of my symptoms. They immediately saw that I was having a lot of blood pressure issues, and I was getting cramped and major painful cramps throughout my entire body, spasms, weakness in my arms and legs, jerking movement. My whole body was twitching, cramping, like stiff person syndrome, very stiff and very painful. Every single muscle in my body, very painful, just pulling and tearing. I almost passed out from heart issues on the way to the doctor's office. So they insisted, against my will, that they call an ambulance and send me to the ER, even though I've been to the emergency room many times, and they keep sending me home because they know that it's my spinal cord. Okay, everybody, sorry. My video keeps freezing, so let me go outside on the porch. So, my spinal cord from the laminectomy, they did made things a lot worse. Now I have a C1 at the base of my skull and on the brain stem. It's crushed, very narrow and crushed, and C5, I believe, but worse, the T6. The T6 is starting to atrophy now. It's starting to show up as really bad on the MRIs. So anyway, my doctor made me go. He called the ambulance and insisted I go to the hospital, but they didn't want to send me to Yale because Yale keeps sending me back home without doing anything for me. So they sent me to Middlesex or hospital or whatever. But then Middlesex said that I need to go to a place for immediate surgery or whatever. So they did some blood work and tests and whatever, and they looked at my file and they said, no, you have to go to a better hospital. We're going to send you to Hartford. So they sent me to Hartford Hospital. Hartford Hospital did MRIs and stuff, compared them with the recent MRIs, and said that it has gotten not significantly, but it's gotten worse over the past few months, and that I do need intervention surgery, but it's not it's not something they're going to do because I'm already going through Yale, so I should go contact Yale surgeons who worked on me and have them do it. And also it's an ER and they're very busy, and so they sent me home worse than I was after keeping me there for almost 30 hours in a hospital bed in a hallway. I didn't even have a room. I was stuck in a hallway in a bed. It wasn't even a bed. It was a gurney, a very uncomfortable, making my spinal compressions even worse for 30 hours of agony. Meanwhile, they gave me some meds and stuff here and there to alleviate the major cramping and muscle spasms and twitching throughout my entire body, which were excruciatingly painful. Every time I moved or stretched or turned, it would be a cramp everywhere, like swimmer's cramps, very bad. They eventually stopped giving me the good stuff in the IV, and once I got to Hartford, and decided they were just going to give me Tylenol and Motrin or something, and some Rota something for cramps. They kept me there 30 hours, doing nothing, but just texting my vitals. My blood pressure is getting dangerously high because of my heart being affected by the C1 brainstem injury, as well as the C5 and especially the T6 between my shoulder blades. They both need immediate surgery, but they're not going to do it in the emergency room as emergent. They want me to show my findings to another doctor and go through a whole long process of going from neurosurgeon to specialist to physical therapy, which we've already gone through all this, and physical therapy is not going to be able to help me until after the surgery. And so Yale doesn't want to do the surgeries, and Hartford doesn't want to do the surgery, and Middlesex doesn't want to do the surgery, or can't do the surgery. So they sent me home. And then today I was getting really, really, really bad again. And well, let me go back. Let me tell you the disaster that happened. So even because I had to be rushed to the hospital yesterday, or Thursday afternoon, against my will, when I told them they're not going to do anything for me, they're just going to keep me there for 2 days and then send me home, and say go get help through a surgeon or something, go make an appointment with a neurologist. That's all they ever do. I've been going through this since 2005 when it all first started. And so they sent me home. After 30 hours, I had to have a friend come from church to drive all the way to Hartford to pick me up at Hartford out, and then bring me all the way to Westbrook to get my car, and then I had to drive. And then, so what happened was, the next day, Donna's not supposed to be left alone, and so because I was rushed to the hospital, even though I called people to let them know, nobody got the messages the first day, and they couldn't come to help Donna or whatever. So when the nurse's aide came on Friday morning and realized that Donna was home alone since last night, I got in trouble. They called protective services on me, and I got in trouble even though it wasn't my fault. I got rushed to the hospital with life-threatening issues, right? So, why is that my fault? It's not like I planned it. I didn't abandon her purposely, And so they sent me with they called the protective services. Hold on, I gotta be quiet because this guy next door causes trouble. And if he hears me talking about this, he works for the park, and they're trying to evict us so they can take the trailer from us, knowing that we're both sick, and try to make money off the trailer while taking it from us for free and putting us on the street. So anyway, so they took Donna. So the next day when the nurse's aide came, she called protective services and called the hospital, and they had Donna admitted to the hospital because they don't want her home alone. So they put her in Yale New Haven ER for 24 hours while I was gone, because they didn't know how long I was going to be, and they don't want her home alone because she can't be home alone. So they kept her there for 24 hours while I was in the hospital with life-threatening issues again. And then I got home last night around, 11 o'clock, and so while Donna was away, the EMTs took my dog and sent him to the dog pound, because they didn't want the dog being left alone, because they thought they didn't know what was going on. So, see all the drama that happens if I'm not home with her all the time? So just because I had to get rushed to the hospital, all this trouble started, okay? So we had to get all this ironed out while I'm in the hospital bed, trying to make all these phone calls to protective services, to the social worker, to everybody, trying to explain what's going on. And so they said, well, Donna will stay here until you get home and you can pick her up. So I called the police, and they said that they had the dog, and so they called the dog warden. He let me go meet them at the dog pound at 11:30 at night to get my dog. They said he was not doing good. He was so scared and crying. They didn't, because he didn't know what was going on. He sees them going to taking Donna away and all this stuff, and so they couldn't keep him with the other dogs in a cage. They put him in their office, so he would have his own room by himself. And so at 11:30, they were excited for me to come and get him right away, because they didn't know if he was going to make it the night, because he, by himself, because he's sick and he needs medicine and stuff all the time, and he hadn't had it in 2 days because I was in the hospital. So I got my dog back. He was so excited to see me. Then I was going to go pick up Donna at the hospital, but they said, no, you know what, just get some rest or whatever, because you haven't slept in 3 days, and then pick her up tomorrow. We want to keep her for observation and questioning. Well, what they were doing was they wanted to watch her mental status and stuff, which they're concerned about, of course, and they wanted to do some PT with her because she's having trouble walking again. So they're getting more help to come to the house now. They restarted more physical therapy at the house, more social workers, more nurses are going to come help us again now every week because of it. So that's kind of a plus, I get more help with her. But they wouldn't let me pick her up until after the protective services evaluated and whatever, and make sure that she wasn't purposely neglected, because she couldn't take her meds without me here, and she couldn't cook for herself without me, and she can't do anything without me. And so I was stuck in the hospital, and they wouldn't let me go home, and they wouldn't give me the surgery I needed to save my life either. So I'm like, why am I here for 30 hours if you're not going to do the surgery and you're not letting me go home? Well, we have medical teams working on you to decide what to do. So 3 different neurosurgeons came to see me, and they all said, well, it's really bad news for you because you have pretty much a life-threatening issue, but you could die at any time, but we're not going to do the surgery, probably because of insurance and all that, but because you already have surgeons that have worked on you, so you're going to have to go back to your hospital in New Haven and tell them what's going on, and if it gets worse, just go back to the ER. And I'm like, I'm not going to keep going back to the ER. It's going to continue getting worse. You guys are playing games with me. Stop sending me back home. Like, either fix it or don't make me come here. So they keep wasting my time making me go to the hospital just to sit me in a room, in a hallway for 20 hours, take some blood work, do some x-rays and MRIs, just to say, oh, you have a life-threatening problem with your spinal cord. This needs to be fixed, but we're not going to do it here because this is an emergency room. You have to go outpatient and go see a neurosurgeon and, go through all that. And I'm like, I don't have time left to be wasting 6 months trying to get this done. Well, if it gets worse, then just come to the hospital. I'm like, you're telling me that I could have cardiac arrest at any time, or my lungs will fail, or both. I don't have much time left. I'm becoming crippled. And they're like, well, I know, but with the insurance and the situation is such a rare, I'm so sorry. I know you're in a lot of pain every day. And so, they wouldn't even give me the meds that they were giving me at Middlesex. They said, we're not going to give you any IV meds because we're not going to give you something that we wouldn't give you at home. So I was stuck on Tylenol, Motrin, and some muscle relaxer, which did nothing to stop the pain and very little to stop the spasms. I said, so what happens when I leave here and the meds run out and I'm stuck with just Tylenol? Well, yeah, I'm sorry, that's a problem. But when the muscles start contracting on me and they're cramping and I can't use my hands and feet, what am I supposed to do? Well, you can always go back to the ER. I'm like, I can't keep going back to the ER. Come on. I can't leave this woman alone. Well, it's an unfortunate situation. Sorry. So they took Donna away and put her in the hospital for 24 hours. They had me stuck in the hospital for almost 2 days. And they took the dog for a day. And because I was rushed to the hospital. So I can't. This is just stupid. And so today I had to go back to the hospital because my symptoms got worse. And I was supposed to pick up Donna there anyway. So when I went to pick up Donna at the hospital, I tried to go to the ER myself again to tell them I'm getting worse. And so I figured while Donna's here already, they can, at least she's safe while I'm getting my, surgery or whatever needs to be done. No, her insurance isn't going to cover her to stay any longer. You have to take her home. And I'm like, but I'm not well. You're sending me home. I can have a heart attack at any time. I know. That's just how the system is. I'm sorry. Good luck. So what happens if I bring her home and then I end up having a heart attack or I call 911 again? Well, then just call 911 again and we'll have to figure it out. But I don't know. She's going to have to be on her own then, I guess. And I'm like, but the state said she can't be. Well, that's not our problem. So they don't want to take her in either. So because of all this bureaucratic medical nonsense. So it's all politics and money, And they know that her insurance won't cover anymore because she's already used over 100 days. So we're probably going to get billed for this, her hospitalization the past 24 hours when she didn't want to go. It was against her will. I didn't want her to go. You know what I mean? We didn't have a check. The state keeps getting involved and handling everything, enforcing, things. So the Agency on the Aging, they're watching every step all the time. So they're really brutal. And they boss me around and tell me how to do everything. And if I don't do everything exactly how they want, which they're never said, then they take her away, and it's a big, oh my goodness. So the past 3 days have been very tumultuous again. So I got Maverick back. I'm back now. Donna's back. But I was basically told, good luck, and you have a death sentence, so good luck trying to get the surgery, but it's probably not going to happen anytime soon, if at all. And you need it to save your life. And meanwhile, every day that goes by, my spinal cord gets worse. So my heart has been uncontrollable blood pressure issues. Medicine won't work because it's from the spinal cord. My lungs stop. My heart is doing like 3 or 4 PVCs per minute now. So I keep literally having mini heart attacks. And they hurt. They're really bad. It's like somebody squeezing my throat and my chest and everything. And I get dizzy or whatever. And they know this, but they're not going to do any more for me right now. I have to go through this long process on Monday. I have to call the neurosurgeons on Monday, make an appointment, go get evaluated, to get all this stuff again just to get the surgery booked, even though it is emergent. And I've gone to 3 different hospitals already, and they're all connected, and they're all saying the same thing. Sorry. So basically they're letting me die is what's happening. So I'm just telling you guys this so you know what to pray for. And, you know, there's nothing I can do, basically. Just wait till I drop dead. I'm on borrowed time. So, and then at that point, they'll take over and put Donna in a facility or something, because I won't be able to take care of her anymore. But it's not fair that I keep going to the hospital. They keep making my doctor. I go to the doctors with these problems, and they send me immediately to the ER. The ER says, "Why does your doctor keep sending you here? We're not going to do anything for you. You know, this is an ER. You need to go to a neurosurgeon and have them, you know, do all that for you," and blah blah blah. And so, they just keep revolving door, you know, like sending me home, getting sicker and sicker. So there's nothing I can do. So guys, my heart has been literally so bad. 3 times already this afternoon I had crushing chest pains. And to make matters worse, after I couldn't get to confession or mass today. I haven't been able to go since last week because of all of this, and we were late for Sunday Mass, so I couldn't receive Holy Communion or do the whole Mass on Sunday. I haven't been able to get back all week. I haven't been able to go to confession in like 2 weeks now. I was supposed to go today, but then Donna was in the hospital, and I had to go get her, and then when we went there, we would have had time to get to Mass, but somehow, okay, this is what I'm saying, something is going on here. Somehow, the guy at the hospital valet did not put my car into the system, and so they lost my car for almost an hour after we checked Donna out, after I had meetings with people, hospital staff, about her release and what's going on, and they're going to get social workers involved again, and blah 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 blah. And listen, we're not worried about you, we're only worried about Donna. If Donna Donna needs to go into a facility if you're not able to take care of her. And I'm like, yeah, so what am I supposed to do, go on the street sick like this? I'll die. Well, we're not worried about you and your dog, we're only worried about her. And I'm like, that's not fair. And they're like, well, I'm like, I own 50% of the mobile home. Like, I've been taking care of her for 10 years. Like, that's my home. That's my, literally. And they're like, yeah, I know, I'm sorry, but that's the system. You know, we take care of her. You know, she'll have to go in Title 19. But you know, we're not worried about you. I'm like, but I keep getting, you need to get on disability. I'm like, I've been trying for years. They keep rejecting and rejecting and rejecting when they know I need to be on it and I'm very sick. I know, I'm sorry. Just keep fighting. Just keep fighting. It could take a long time. And I'm like, and if something happens before then, well, I know, I'm sorry, it happens to people all the time. But, you know, we're not worried about you. We're worried about your 80-year-old mother here. And so, you know, she'll be taken care of at least. So aren't you happy that at least she'll be in a home and you'll be on the street dead, but, you know, at least she'll be taken care of. I'm like, I'm 45. I still have a whole life ahead of me. I spent my life in service to people and to God. And so I should just die in the street? When I have serious medical conditions, she's got dementia, but I have lethal illnesses, and they won't help me. And now they want to take my home, too. I need a huge financial windfall, but at this point, all the money in the world is not going to help me. See, right now I'm having trouble even talking because my heart's acting up again, and I can't breathe. And there's nothing stops it. Like, it's that bad. Like, there's no medicine they can do to fix it. Calming down doesn't fix it. There's nothing. It's the spinal cord. And I found out recently that it's not only is the T6 cord really, really atrophied and bad, and that affects your heart and your breathing and all that, and everything from the T6 below, like my legs and whatever, paraplegia, whatever, but the C1 at the brainstem is really bad, and that can affect your heart, your breathing, everything. Everything from the spine, the brainstem all the way down gets paralyzed and affected by the C1 injury, which was made worse by the surgery that they did. They did the surgery below the C2 or 3, making the C1 crushed, and then they stopped the surgery before T6, putting all the pressure of the rods and screws on the T6, which is already crushed. I mean, are you trying to kill me? Like, what surgeon would do something so stupid like that? Like, you already knew that it was compromised in those 2 areas. Why would you not fix those 2 areas, which are the most important? Why would you fix below the C1 all the way down to like T5 or T3 when T6 is in imminent danger and really needs to be fixed, and C1 needs to be fixed? So all they did was make things worse by putting more pressure on the base of my skull and on the base of my shoulders, the T6. So they basically gave me a death sentence. And even a malpractice suit at this point, we don't have the money to even go after him. It's not even, I won't even live long enough to go after it. And what's the point? What's the point of suing? For what? So the state can take the money, or someone who doesn't deserve it? I mean, the money's not going to fix this at this point. You know, what good is money if I'm dead or quadriplegic? So, folks, I don't know if God's doing this to punish me. I don't know if God's doing this for some reason I'm not aware of. The suffering in all ways, financial, physical, mental, spiritual, is immense. Okay? The pain and suffering I go through in this body, it is so scary to not be able to use your fingers and your hands when they cramp up. And it's also very, very painful. And it's scary when you can't walk. You can't swallow. It comes and goes, comes and goes. You can't sit back. You can't lay down. So I can't get sleep. So, guys, without a miracle from God, whether He miraculously gets me a surgery somehow or a major financial windfall so I can pay a surgeon right away before I die, but the damage to the cord is already almost permanent, they're saying. So they can slow it, but they can't fix what's damaged. So it might be too late. Sorry. You know, it's like mini heart attacks, and it really hurts, and there's knowing that I can't do anything about it, because if I call 911, they're just going to send me home anyway, because, you know, there's nothing I could do. So I tried to go, so they lost our car in valet for almost 45 minutes. Lost it. Making me late to church, so I couldn't get to confession or mass, which I really need at this point, before I die. Then, my priest is sick with the flu or COVID or something, so we have this other priest who is not very nice to me, and he saw that he locked the doors and everything, and I was trying to get in, so I was telling people what was going on outside the church, and I said, have you seen the priest? Who did the mass today? Oh, Father so-and-so. Okay, well, I need anointing of the sick. I need to at least get confession or something, because I can die at any time. I really need to see him. You know, I miss mass. I'm going to try to get to mass tomorrow if God allows me, but I still won't be able to receive Holy Communion because I haven't been able to get to confession in over a week, and, you know, I just want to do it right, you know, especially if it's my last mass, and there's no guarantee I'm going to wake up tomorrow or make it through the night. And so, and the bad thing is I look good. Like, do I look like I'm on death's door right now? No. But that's what's so bad about this illness or this injury, is that most people would be panicking, and I am panicking. What am I supposed to do? I have to remain calm or I will have a heart attack. You know what I mean? There's nothing I can do about it. I keep going to the ER. They keep sending me home worse. I already know the situation. They keep doing MRIs, and they keep saying, yep, it's bad, whatever. Good luck. So, I need a supernatural miracle. Now, here's the other thing. I got that St. Raphael oil, and I used it when I got it, and immediately everything went away. So I thought. I hope that oil is not actually witchcraft or something on it, because I was not nearly this bad until after I used that oil. I got maybe 1 or 2 days where all the symptoms just miraculously disappeared, and then I got 10 times worse. And I kept using the oil a couple more times, doing the prayers, begging God, going to adoration, praying more rosaries, praying psalms over myself, praying more and more prayer, going to adoration, all that stuff, begging God, sobbing, crying, saying, Lord, please help me. I'm doing everything I humanly can. And I'm having more and more trouble getting priests to give me confession. And every time I try to get to confession, I'm late, and they won't make time for me, and they yell at me. When I do get to confession, they yell at me, or you're being scrupulous, or you're doing this, or blah, 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 or whatever. And they're being very unmerciful to me in the confessional. And so I'm like, what is going on? I used to pray and always get confession, whatever I needed. Jesus would literally send a priest to my house at 10 o'clock at night, or to the hospital at 10 p.m. whenever I prayed. Lord, please send me a priest. I need confession now. Even from my hospital bed. Whatever. No more. Now, something's making me late. Traffic, the car got lost today, they couldn't find it in the valet. There's always something going on. Dawn is in the hospital, I was in the hospital. I can't get to my priest. He's never there. When I need to get there, I'm late for mass. So something's blocking me from even being able to get to mass on time or to get to confession and adoration. All these things. I'm being blocked. So I went to the church tonight. We were late. The doors were already locked. The priest was in a rush to get out of there. It was only 5:30. I was telling everybody outside, what's going on. They say, "Oh, we'll pray for you. Don't worry. God understands. At least you're trying." I'm like, "But I need." So I got on my knees outside the church doors and I said, "Jesus, I know you see me out here. I'm sorry. I drove all the way here. It wasn't my fault the car got lost in valet. I would have been here. Like, I really need, I'm going out of my way. There's nowhere else for me to go to get, at this hour, to get a priest to give me confession. I'm trying. I self-confess. I did my, I'm doing the best I can." So then all of a sudden the priest walks out. So I go up to him and they said, "Oh, go talk to him now." And I tried to tell him what was going on. I said, "Listen, Father, I went to the hospital like you told me to. This is what happened. I gotta go. I'm like, "You're not even listening to me. I gotta get to a wedding." I'm like, "Okay, but I just wanted to tell you that." He's like, "I gotta get to a wedding." And I'm like, my confessor, my priest, the normal parish priest, wouldn't treat me that way. But this new guy, he's always like that to me. And so he will not go out of his way most of the time to go and hear my confession if it's in. Now, a real priest should say, "Oh, you're in life-threatening condition right now. Let's go back in there and do a confession right away. This is serious." He wouldn't. And I told him, like, "Father, I just got out of the ER again. I just went back there again. They sent me home again. I'm in imminent danger. This is not a joke. Like, can you just give me 1 minute for confession and maybe do an anointing of the sick or something? Because I might not make it to Mass tomorrow." "No, I got to go. I'm late for a wedding. I got a wedding to go to." I'm like, "Woe be to you, Father so-and-so," I'm not going to mention your name, "of the Hartford Archdiocese." There's a clue. "You put my soul in jeopardy to rush off to a wedding." Like, it would take you 5 minutes to just go in there. You could have even done one on the spot if you wanted to. You could have said, "Come here, let's go over here." And you could have done it right then and there. You don't need to go into the confessional, put the stole on, all that stuff. You could have heard my confession right then and there. But you wouldn't. He was nasty to me, and he just got in the car. I said, "Well, where's Father Turner? Can I call him? He's sick. He's got the flu or something." I'm like, "Well, can you please tell him?" "Yeah, when I see him." I'm like, he's like, like I said, I got to go. And I'm like, so I was going to call the Father Turner. I didn't know if he was home or not. His house was right there, but I didn't. First of all, I wasn't feeling well. I had Donna in the car. I just didn't want to have a heart attack while driving us home. I just wanted to get us home safe before something happened, because I have trouble and I start passing out at the wheel from my heart. And so I didn't want to get smashed up in an accident with Donna in the car. So I'm like, I got to get Donna home before something happens. When I got in the car, I immediately started having like I'm having right now. I immediately started having crushing chest pains that go right through my throat, through my back, around my left, and the heart's going boom, 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 all arrhythmias. I'm going to post, after I post this video, I have a bunch of screenshots of the research I did to give you a better explanation. It's a lot of reading, but I took screenshots I'm going to post now so you can better understand my condition and what I've been living with, so you understand how dangerous it is. What Yale Hospital and Hartford Hospital and Middlesex Hospital are doing to me, what they're well aware of. I don't know if it's an insurance thing. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the devil. I don't know if it's God's will. I don't know. But they're just kicking me off, sending me back home. They will not help me. They take blood tests, they do x-rays and MRIs, and that's it, and say, "Oh, here's the same problem." I know that. I know. Would you please fix it before I die? "Oh, no, we're not going to do that. This is an ER. I'm like, "I know, but I was sent here for emergency surgery." "Oh, no, it's not. We're not going to do it. That's like serious neurosurgery, and we can't, you can't expect us to do that right now." I'm like, "But if I came in from a car accident with my head hanging off, well, then we'd have to do it." I'm like, but you've already had multiple surgeries, and you have a progressive, like this is gonna, you need to go through the normal way of things, and the ER is not the way. So basically, they would just let me die, I guess, and don't put it past them, because they tried to do that to me last year. And if my priest and a doctor friend of mine did not intervene for me, they were going to put me on life support and just let me die. They were not going to give me the plasma treatments I needed to save my life. But the Lord intervened. And so I was asking God today outside the church. I got on my knees and I said, Lord, I'm here. I'm here. I pressed my hand up against the glass of the door and I said, I'm right here, Jesus. I tried, Lord. I'm here. I'm here. I'm begging you. I'm here. I'm on my knees outside because the doors are locked and I can't even come in to be with you. I'm here. I prayed my chapel of Divine Mercy in the car and at the hospital. I was outside in public with Donna, waiting for the valet, with my Bible. Okay, I finished my chaplet, and then I had the Bible, and I prayed Psalms 23, 51, 86, and 91 over myself, out loud, while I'm standing there, and people looking at me like, oh, this guy's crazy, he's standing there reading the Bible, waiting at the valet in front of all these people. How tacky, and it's like, good. You guys need to see people with faith. It only irritates everybody. But I didn't care, because if I was to drop dead right then and there, I'm going to drop dead with the Bible in my hand. And I'm not afraid to proclaim Jesus Christ to the world publicly. I don't care. And shame on that hospital for sending me home when I was there saying, listen, I really would like to check in because I need to be seen while I'm here. Donna could wait a little while I'm being seen. Please, my heart. No, you can't. We can't leave her here any longer. You got to bring her home. Just call 911 if you have to. And I'm like, but then I can't leave her home again, so if I call 911 and come back here, they're going to put her back in a... No, they won't, because we're not going to let her come here this time, because she's out of insurance. We're not going to... There's no need. She's going to have to just stay home alone. I'm like, but she's not allowed to. So and they're like, well, we're not going to bring her back here again. So I'm like, well, then while she's here, let her stay in the waiting room at least, so while I'm getting checked out. No, bring her home. I'm like, I'm telling you, I'm having cardiac issues right now. You guys are aware of my situation. Why are you sending me home when I'm already at the ER right now? The waiting room was packed, by the way, so I would have had to wait hours or days because it was full. It's been full all week. So, folks, I'm in Jesus' hands. I'm in God's hands. I've tried everything humanly possible. I've gone to 3 different hospitals the past few days. I've gone to my doctors. I've told everybody what's going on. I've asked for prayer. I've gone to church multiple times, or I tried to get to church, but I couldn't. I went to the priest. He rejected me. So either Jesus is mad at me and he's not going to let me get my absolution or one last Holy Communion and Mass, or maybe he will. Maybe tomorrow I'll get Don and I to Mass in time in the morning. And I hope and pray that I'll be able to get there early enough to get confession before Mass. But if it's the same priest again, or that other priest, they're not going to give me confession on a Sunday. And they won't give me anointing of the sick. They just won't do their job. Father Turner would, but he's not around all the time. He's got like 5 parishes he's bouncing between, because he runs them all. So he does like your 3-week rotation. He's good. He's never rejected me. He'll come to the hospital when I'm dying at 10 o'clock at night to check on me. He'll come to the house, whatever. But he's sick right now or not available, and I was going to call him. I suppose I can try calling him and see if he'll meet with me tonight. But if he's got COVID or something, I can bring that home to myself or Donna, and that wouldn't be good. So I don't know. And I don't want to bother him if he's sick with the flu. You know what I mean? So I'm in Jesus' hands, That's all I can say. So, folks, it's that bad. I know I look like an alarmist. I know I look fine right now. I'm sitting on my porch, dressed up nice from church or whatever, but what do you want me to do at this point? It's no different, I suppose, if I had a major heart failure problem or a tumor or cancer and the doctor said, hey, you have X amount of time to live. Make it count. So pretty much, that's basically what it is. They haven't said that, but it goes without saying. And again, when I post the following photos, read them. Read the conditions about the C1, T6, and what it can do. They know this. The neurosurgeons know this. The doctors know this, which is why they keep sending me to the ER. They're killing me, guys. They're letting me die. Maybe it's because I don't have good insurance. I don't know. But I know that Husky's state insurance knows that I've already had multiple surgeries, so they probably don't want to do any more. They probably figure I'm a lost cause. What do they call this? Useless eaters. Just get rid of the guy. He can't work. We don't want to get him on disability because we're not going to pay for him. You know, he's just taking up space, oxygen, air. You know, can't pay taxes, can't work. He's useless. He's a useless eater. Let him die. That's what they will say, because they are run by Freemasons, and they don't care about the sick, the elderly, the poor, the homeless. You know, babies. They abort babies. They want to euthanize crippled people and retarded people and elderly people. And so basically, you know, it's like that whole remember, Marxism, Marxist communist mentality, socialist mentality, survival of the fittest, kick the weak bird out of the nest. It can't survive long anyway. Focus on those who can. And in fact, one of my family members, I won't mention who it was, basically kind of said that a few years ago to me themselves, because they know I'm sick, and my family still won't make amends with me. They won't help me. They won't help me take care of her. They literally told me to go under a bridge and die. And they basically said, hey, survival of the fittest. The weak bird gets kicked out of the nest. My own family. Now, only one of the surviving family members is blood. The rest of them, my older sister's adopted, so my niece is not related to me either. And my stepmother's my stepmother, so she's not my blood. So maybe that's why they don't care so much, because I'm not blood related. But Donna cares more about me than when she can, than my own family. And she's not blood either, you know. She kind of adopted me, so we adopted each other. So what's the point of this? I got to end this video because there's no point in going on. Folks, now you know what's going on. Now you know what to pray for. Now you know what the last 2 days of hell have been. They took Donna away from me. They took the dog. Now, mind you, I'm having cardiac failure. I'm having all these paralysis and stuff, and I have to drive all over the state when I shouldn't even be driving when I'm like this. And I could drop at any time, and yet I have to drive an old woman and a dog all over the place. I mean, you know, you're putting everybody in danger. And they're telling me, listen, if you're not well enough to take care of her, then just we'll put her in a home now and we'll take your house. You'll go on the street and die. We'll take the house to pay for her care, and that's it. At least she'll be taken care of. That's what I was told again today, at the hospital, when I went to pick her up. They want me to call Agency on the Aging again on Monday and make Donna go on Title 19 so they can take her IRA and basically take the assets from us to make sure that she's taken care of before something happens to me. Because they know that it's not a matter of if but when for me. So they're like, Stephen, do the right thing. Don't worry about yourself. Make sure that you make sure that she's taken care of, so that she'll be okay when you die, or when you end up on the street. What an evil society we live in, run by your elite, your satanic, Marxist, socialist, communist elite. God bless America? I don't think so.